Welcome everybody, this is Brothermutant here. Today we're going to start a new campaign, and this is for Pathfinder Kingmaker.
Our story started at the mansion of an Aldori swordlord. Drawn by the promise of a most dangerous task and a commensurately huge reward, heroes of all stripes gathered here.
This is a new character that I've been working on. I've finally settled on what kind of Eldritch Scion I want to be. So that's what you're going to see here.
Where are they? This is taking forever! They didn't even say what this was for, just that the Aldori were looking for heroes. Who are the Aldori anyway? Rich folk?
If you can't be patient, no one's keeping you here. Just go back to your mountains or whatever hole you crawled out of. The Aldori Swordlords run the premier school for the dueling arts. They're also the richest and most influential group in this part of Brevoy. Take that tone with them, and they'll teach you some manners pretty quickly.
All right, you purple toad, just shut your trap. And if you can't, I'll help you.
Hush! Quiet! They're coming.
So as I was saying, this is a new character that I've just been working on for a while now. I finally settled on what kind of skills and points and investment I want to put into this character. We're actually making a pure Eldritch Scion. What I mean by that is that we will not be dipping into any other classes, which may be a mistake, but we were going to see. I've never finished the game anyway, so this will be a good chance for me to make a team. And I may actually make a custom team with mercenaries. Those mercenaries will be other builds that I've been working on in my spare time. One particularly that appealed interesting to me, a scroll savant that dipped a little bit into magus, just to get the ability to cast spells, wear a little armor, and cast spells through their weapon. I have yet to decide if I want to go Eldritch Archer with that, or just a straight up magus for that. I'm not sure yet. Since she's probably going to be distance, Eldritch Archer would probably make the most sense. And she's going to have higher dex than anything else, not counting, of course, intelligence. The idea for the Scroll Savant is the ability to use scrolls in everyday situations where I can like stockpile the scrolls for that character. Buffs, for instance, will be used heavily, and this way I'll have access to those buffs because I'll be a Scroll Savant and have all kinds of wonderful upgrades for using scrolls specifically. The reason for the dip into the Eldritch Archer / Magus class would be not only the armor upgrade, light armor only, but still something, and also the ability to channel spells through your weapon, which again, probably Eldritch Archer, so through a bow or a crossbow. But also, if you go 3 levels in, you can actually pick one of the Magus's feats, which I'm going to get either the Wand Wielder or the Wand Mastery. I forget what it's called properly. But either one of those sound interesting to me too, because again, I'm using use magic device type items, the wands, the scrolls, and then of course potions to chug as I need. So that could be an interesting class as well. I almost made this LP on that character, but decided against it just because I think the Eldritch Scion has a little more survivability to it. But we shall see.
Greetings, everyone. I am Swordlord Jamandi Aldori, and this is Lord Mayor Yosef Salimius of Restov. Welcome to my mansion.
We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for responding to our call. You may be few, but that's unavoidable. We need only the best of the best for this task. And I see true heroes before me, strong and fearless, exactly what Restov needs.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Now, to the point. South of here, just beyond Brevoy's border, lies a region known as the Stolen Lands. This is disputed territory, and while it's long been claimed by nearby states, it's never been truly taken. I won't bore you with the legal technicalities. Suffice to say that anyone with enough courage and power to seize the Stolen Lands and name themselves Baron or Baroness, claiming dominion, well, none of the neighboring states would be able to challenge it. Of course, Restov would be first to recognize the legitimacy of this new state, as well as the noble title of its founder. Unfortunately, one serious obstacle stands between you and this title. A gang of bandits holds sway in the Stolen Lands. Their chief, who they call the Stag Lord, considers himself the rightful owner of these lands. and no one has yet been able to challenge his power. Bring me his head, and you'll be able to return to the Stolen Lands as their legal ruler. Any questions?
Now, since I've actually been through the tutorial multiple times, I don't really feel the need to go through a lot of this stuff. I'll point out things that I consider to be important, but instead of talking to them about all these little tooltips and such, I'm just going to skip by it and just go to the last one. It's clear as day.
Excellent. You venture forth tomorrow. For now, you can take some time to get to know one another better. Or you can head straight to your guest rooms to get some rest. You'll find we've already prepared supplies for you there. And thank you again for agreeing to take part in this expedition. I wish you luck.
Thank you again, with all my heart, for replying to this call. The flare in your eyes reveals your courage, the unshakable will that distinguishes true heroes. I look at you, O champions of Restov, and doubt not for a second that you'll be victorious. So venture forth toward your feet. Go, and return in triumph.
Hi, my name's Lindsay. I'm a bard, though this is my first real adventure. So, shall we go teach this stag lord a lesson?
We sure will. Just wait. We've plenty of great feats in store.
I have no doubt. Kind of related, I wanted to ask you something. How do you feel about this Tartuccio fellow? I think he's pretty obnoxious personally. He appointed himself head of the team, and he's just after the Baron's crown, or whatever it is barons wear. Doesn't matter. I don't like him. I think you should be team leader. When I first saw you, I couldn't help but think, now here's a real hero. Someone who'll be praised in poems and songs. This is the person I'll write my book about.
Wait, look.
Damn, I should have led with that. Please, just let me explain. You know what the trouble with most heroes' biographies is? They're always written years later, based on the tales of, best case, people who saw things from the outside. Worst case, someone heard about it from their brother, who heard it from their friend, who heard it from their cousin, and so on, adding a new batch of lies each time. Every time I read about a heroic journey, I think to myself, why didn't they just bring a bard with them to write it all down properly? And then I thought, I could be that bard. I just needed to find a suitable hero and volunteer to follow along on their glorious adventure. A great plan, huh? And here we are, with a heroic journey lying before us. Who's going to be the hero? Some dwarf who keeps muttering about how we'll all die? Or maybe that horrific scythe lady? Or, God's forbid, Tartuccio? No way.
Not a bad plan. It's settled in. I'll accomplish the feats, and you'll write them down.
Deal. All right. I'm going to my room to write about tonight. See you in the morning.
Okay, so now we have the chance to break away from these guys. You can talk to the various named people here, of course. Here's Miri, Jathel. What else we got? Tartuccio was over here somewhere. He must have left already. Harem, that's the monk. He's the depressing cleric. Amiri is the barbarian, the crazy-ass barbarian. Jathel, she's the scythe lady she was talking about. We're missing a couple of others as well. They already probably bolted for the door. Now, before we get into this, let's actually take a look at our character so you guys can see what I've built for you. Again, this is a pure Eldritch Scion. She'll go from level 1 up to 20. I have a little bit in strength, mostly in dexterity and charisma, because she's an Eldritch Scion. Charisma is her main stat. Intelligence is 13. I went Aasimar, and specifically Angel kind, for the reason that it increases strength and charisma. Now, while I don't care about the strength bump, I mean, I'll take it. There was another reason for going Angel kind. One is the charisma. Two is that we get this free spell use every day, and it's one spell that of particular interest, Lesser Restoration. So you'll see when I have over here this ability, Lesser Restoration, will be added to our list. The reason for it being necessary, or being useful anyway, will be the fact that Lesser Restoration allows us to peel off things like fatigue effects once a day. So that basically doubles the duration I can be out without having to take a nap, so to speak. I don't want to have to worry about spells running out, so of course I'll be taking a knee periodically. However, if I can go longer because I feel like I can push my luck, then I'll do so. For spells that I've picked for the very beginning, you see that you only get 2 spells right up front. Let me put everything where it needs to be. And those 2 spells for our spell book is Shield and Shocking Grasp. Shield will be extremely useful. Yes, I can wear armor, but Shield is a very nice and useful spell since we're not technically allowed to carry a shield as an Eldritch Scion. You can use one, don't get me wrong, but you have to have one hand free to be able to cast your spells, from what I understand. I've yet to test this out to make sure that it does work that way, but that's the way it's intended, so I'm going to play that way as well. So Shield will be for my ability to buff myself since I won't be able to wear a shield. Shocking Grasp, of course, is one of the heaviest hitting spells that we have at level 1 that we can also channel through our weapon once we get to level 2. So that's the reason for picking it. From there, I'm probably going to fast through a lot of the tutorial stuff here, guys. So I do apologize if you wanted to see the tutorial. Feel free to play it. It's fun. I'll stop it through the highlights of the main fights and where I find treasure, stuff of that nature. But by and large, I'm going to zip through it so we can keep this first video down to a minimum. Alright, here we go.
Help! Help!
What's
the
going on?
mansion's under attack. We need to help. Some villains broke in and started killing everyone. I barely made it. Hurry, we have to help the guards fight off the attackers or we'll all be cut down one by one.
Alright, she bails. Now, for those of you that don't know, I've never played the game. Pause it here real quick. So this is our first combat. So again, tutorials to letting you know how to work this. As soon as you get into these fights, it always pauses it for me, so that's nice. For those of you that don't know, if you have a spellcaster type when you have to prep your spells and you don't like the spells that they gave you, you want to do it before this part. Before I exited that last room, I should have pointed out to you. You want to make sure to equip whatever spells you're going to take through the tutorial, because you will rest. You will get the use of those spells. Once you rest, these will come back. Another fun little tip. I could have buffed myself up with Shield before going through the doorway. Shield would have been back up to 2, so it's Shocking Grasp because I get to cast 2 per day of either of these, or both of them, 1 of each, 2 of one, 0 of the other. Because I'm an Eldritch Scion, that's how it works. I'm basically a sorcerer fighter type. But if I had cast Shield before walking through that door, it would have allowed me to arrest, and I still would have had Shield still on my character. You would have seen it down here. Well, that's not anything really to write home about. It only lasts for 1 minute. It is a way for you, especially in the harder content, to start off the gates running, basically. So if you have something like Mage Armor that gives you a really nice bump, you could use Mage Armor on yourself, go through that doorway, and then Mage Armor or whatever you equip at that point will be in your spell list now. Mage Armor will still be on you, and Mage Armor, fun fact, lasts for 1 hour per caster level. So you could have Mage Armor through the whole tutorial and then some. It's not a bad way to start out if you're starting out with a wizard type. I highly recommend it. And I don't consider it cheating because it's part of the game. It is cheating in that you didn't really take a rest. They're just giving you your spells back. And no time is technically elapsed. So your Mage Armor will still have like 59 point some minutes on it. So it's kind of nice. But I'm going to go through these fights, show them, but you won't see me walking from room to room unless I think that there's something of importance to talk about. So let's get to the first fight, shall we? Now I'm going to buff up. We're running a rapier here. It's going to be our weapon of choice. Mostly. Buff it up. So now for 1 minute, the rapier is a +1 weapon. +1 to damage, +1 to hit. And because the rapier's buffed and only for 1 minute at a time, I want to capitalize on that. Instead of running around for treasure, I'm going to go to the first couple of fights that I can get into where I know that that buff will still be on my weapon. Now, it's not going to last long. And the sad part is they don't show you a timer on your weapon buff. It's kind of a shame. You have to just kind of know how long it's going to last. Now, if you see, we have a teammate now. She's not part of our team yet, but you can highlight her, Lindsay, over here. See where she's targeting. The yellow dots go towards her target. The red dots is who's attacking her. Clearly, this guy's going to come and attack her. She's a ranged attacker. I'm not yet, anyway. And I'm going to rely on weapons. So I'm going to take out the other guy. I'm going to charge him, which gives me a buff to my attack. Lowers my armor class a little bit, which kind of sucks. But it's what it is.
You're just in time. Let's speak.
Alright, that's Dri'tch talking to us. He's the little purple toad guy. I'll make sure to get myself some better armor. He gave us a nice magic ring we're going to use. It increases my armor class a little bit. So does this light armor. And I can still cast spells while in this armor, which is one of the really nice things of being a Magus type class, except for the Sword Saints, of course. Now I've gotten rid of my studded leather. I can give that to Lindsay to give her at least a +1 armor class bump. And we'll do so. From there, I want to orient my team like so. And then go pick up that treasure that I was missing. So I'll see you guys at the next fight. Okay, here we are again. This is just where we've picked up Dri'tch and our other teammate, Lindsay. And I'm going to take this up here. This is to the next fight. This is the next hallway. But because we don't want to give them any advantage over us, we're going to stealth into the area to kind of spy on them a little bit. So you see we saw one guy here. He's a bowman. And at least another guy here that's the assassin. So again, pause the game. If I look at my inventory, you see that my weapon no longer has the buff on it. If I buff it, it has a little circle letting you know that it's enchanted. Okay, that's usually your way of telling that your gear is magical in some way. Now I have spells that I can use from my scrolls. That's through my belt. I have up to 5 things that I can store here. This can be wands, it could be potions, this could be scrolls, as you see here. It could be other rods, other useful items that you can throw, like alchemist fire. And these things you find limited uses of because you only get to put 1 in each of these 5 slots. So it's kind of a drag, but it kind of limits you, but it's also smart because that way you can't just like load up with 99 magic missile scrolls and go to town. You have to re-equip them to the belt and use them that way. Now you can buff from here. So, and I'll prove it to you because I want to use it just to show it to you anyway. This scroll of shield spell. If I go right click it, I can equip it, which means it puts it to my belt. Or if I just say use it, then I actually use it, and boom, now I have the spell on me. For 1 minute, I have a +4 to my armor class. So now I need to inch a little bit closer so that I can hit him with this.
Can you make an epic pose? I need
Boom.
inspiration.
So we had buddies in the room, not just 1, but 2. And those are bowmen. So I need to take this guy out so that I can interfere with the bowmen. They don't like it if you're fighting them in melee. Doesn't mean they can't swing, but I get attacks of opportunity every time they do attack from range. And they get a disadvantage to fighting someone that's in melee range. Nice. Now, I pick up all the loot that I can, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Loot can overweigh you. So as you see here, we have a specific amount of weight that we're allowed to carry. The more people on your team, the bigger this number will get, and that's also based on their strength. So while these 2 aren't particularly strong and I'm not the best at strength, we still can carry a decent capacity of weight. But if we're not going to use it, you might as well drop it, and I'll tell you why. If we're not going to use it, the weight slows us down, makes us more likely to get tired, for one, and then the other is at the end of the map, when we leave the area, it gives us the ability to pick up all the treasure that we dropped on the floor. We can cycle through it and pick whatever we want. So you might as well go through, pick up everything, and just like randomly leave piles of treasure that you don't want in your way. Now again, I will meet you guys at the very next fight scene. Okay, here we are, our next fight scene.
It's the end for you rats!
Looks like Amiri's got herself into some trouble.
Be careful.
It pauses, because once we can actually see them now, it tells us that we're in combat, and therefore it pauses it. You'll notice that I'm wounded, and we don't want that to be an issue. So again, I go to my inventory screen, and in the inventory I can activate stuff. So I don't have to have it on my belt. I can just go here. Oh, it won't let me do it, because we're in combat, so I guess I do have to put it on my belt. There we go. My apologies. Learn something new every day. So now I can use it. Come on, drink the vodka. Alright, now Mary did all the heavy lifting, but we were helping her with arrows in the back ranks, even if it wasn't me doing it. And I got a potion for my trouble as well, so that works out well. And again, little cutscene to show you what you're kind of up against. Here's the bad guys marching in on the town square, taking out the main guard. And while there's less guards than there are bad guys here, we have this one issue of this big hulking bastard coming in and just like cleaning their clocks. Kind of annoying. Fortunately, they don't stick around. They go on further, and in so doing, break down some of the goddamn castle. So, we can't follow them, not like you'd want to anyway as a level 1 character, but they left some bodies behind. Let's loot those real quick and get on to our next fight, and I'll see you there. Okay, we're not at our next fight yet. However, there's the first skill check, and I want to show it to you guys. So now this is one's dexterity. You highlight it with your cursor, you can see what kind of check it is. Now if you have your whole team selected, you click on this. Whoever has the highest dexterity, from what I understand, is the one that gets selected to try to clear it. More likely than not, they will. If they don't clear it, you take a little bit of damage. The whole team does. Then you get allowed to try it again until you basically pass it. Now, they made these ones so easy that there's only like one possible way, I think, for you to even fail it, and that's if you roll a natural 1. So you can always roll a 1 and fail things. You can always roll a 20 and pass things. So even if your armor class is huge, they can still hit you on a natural 20. Even if your attack bonus sucks, you can still swing and hit the hardest hitting guy on the team, on the bad guy's team, with a natural 20. You will still land your hit. You probably won't do piss all for damage, but it's not the point. They always give you that little chance that you will hit your mark, which is kind of nice. It's really annoying though when you're trying to like make a saving throw and you have a fortitude, let's say, that's so incredibly high that there's no way you should fail it, and you roll a natural 1 and therefore you do fail it. So those suck. So when you see stuff like that, you think the game is broken or glitched. It's not glitched. In those particular instances, it's doing what was intended. The lowest roll always fails. The highest roll always passes. There may be like a feat or two out there that allow you to ignore the lowest roll. I highly recommend you get those if you find them. There are some instances, like for my Scroll Savant, that have the ability to roll a natural 10 every time, so long as a 10 is enough to actually use that scroll, which is kind of nice. So again, there's feats out there that can modify your rolls in ways that basically guarantee you will not fail, but only under certain circumstances. So now, as we say, we have this dexterity check here, and while it's okay to let anyone pass it, Lindsay will probably be the person that would pass it, as she has a pretty good dex. I do as well, and I want the XP. I have set up this particular run to give me XP, or excuse me, to give anyone XP who has the feat in question, or the skill in question that's being used. So if it's a lockpick, or if it's a disarming of a trap, if I do it and I pass it, then all the XP goes to my character for doing that feat. So the same way here, I pick my character because I want the XP, and only my character, and then I click dexterity and see if I make it. If I make it, I get XP. Instead of sharing it with the team, I got 54. So let's go look at our character sheet and see what I'm talking about. So I have 620. Lindsay is at 182, and so is Tartuccio. The reason they're lower than me instead of being dead even with me is because of that selection I made once I set up this game, this very beginning, of what I wanted for stats and such. So I will hopefully out-level everybody on my team. Lindsay usually comes up close because usually she's a better lock picker than me anyway, and sometimes you just have no choice. You know, if you try and fail, you really want what's inside, you have to get someone else to lock pick it. So I'll have Lindsay do it. So she will get XP randomly by doing those specific feats that I just can't accomplish. So she will be kind of neck and neck with me, but by and large I should be the highest level character throughout the LP, and that's kind of by design for me. I want to be the badass of the whole game campaign. That's the whole point of me playing it, right? So my character is the most important delicate flower of the whole team. So again, I'm going to buff up my weapon here, and I'm going to charge this melee fighter here, let the bowman just sit there and shoot. Now they're at disadvantage because I'm right there in their face. Nice. And you saw attack of opportunity flash up on the screen repeatedly. The reason for that is because they're trying to attack at range. Now that could be with a spell, a bow, a crossbow, and I'm in melee combat with them. They get attacks of opportunity against them. That also works against us as well. So if I had a bow and was attacking a meleeer, then they wouldn't be doing attacks of opportunity against me, and that's something that we don't want to have. That's one of the reasons for this particular build. You'll see later on.
What have we here?
Now this is just
Who said we were
a little
stealing
gold
it?
cache that's been sitting here. It's basically the pay for the guards. And Tertuccio is trying to get you to be evil and take it. Your other friend Lindsay's trying to say this is a bad idea. So now you can go either side or kind of go neutral, but I'm literally going to say pass.
Finally, a voice of reason.
Do what you want. I don't care. It was just a suggestion. But there's a lot of money in that chest, and with all these bandits running around, it wouldn't be any better if they stole it.
As agreed. And he makes a good, valid point, but it's still one of those where we're trying not to be evil. So, here's Lindsay. I'm going to give her a couple of weapons. Still going to switch her back over to her crossbow, because she's better at range than she is at anything else. She has spells too, which are helpful, but by and large, her ultimate goal for us is going to be back rank support. Now, we have, based on weight, we also have a really nice composite longbow that I'm going to equip for myself. This is based on price now, from lowest to highest to lowest. Items that we don't need, we're going to drop. Again, we'll pick those up at the end. And we don't even really need these lame swords, or this crossbow, or bow, and tower shield. It's extremely heavy. We'll keep these ones because these might be useful for another teammate that we're going to get here before too long. And you can have a party of up to 6 people, by the way, and you will relatively quickly get that team. I'm going to cut to this next fight. Or actually, sorry, I take that back. We're not going to cut it all, because right here is our next teammate. A little warning about encumbrance. This is Jaethel. She's just letting you know that she put a bunch of traps on the ground in this hallway. And the reason that they don't hurt her is they're gas traps, like those there. And she's undead. And yes, she really is undead. She actually is an undead elf. Sadly, we're not allowed to actually pick that as a class for ourselves. It would be nice to actually play it as the undead, but we don't get to do that. Maybe they'll unlock that ability at some point. But she truly is undead. I'll prove it to you. If you look at her character sheet and her abilities, you come to find out that she has a lot of immunities and stuff that goes along with her being undying, right? So she literally, when she dies, she'll come right back to life because she doesn't give no fucks. Your teammates, if they die, they stay dead. So you have to res them. So don't get crazy here. Now, there's unconscious and there's dead in this game. Unconscious is you got taken down to 0 health. Basically, if you get hit one more time after that, usually I think you just straight up die. So that really is something to worry about. There is resing spells in this game, and you can set the difficulty to be where no one really officially dies. So long as one of your party survives, you'll survive. But the downside of that is it doesn't feel right. Also, if your main character dies, in I think every iteration of this game, if your main character dies, the game's over. So don't let your main character suffer just because you're thinking that you're fine. Now, she is an Inquisitor, Jaethel, this undead scythe wielder. Being an Inquisitor affords her a couple of really cool abilities. And I want to show you one of them. That ability right there is called Guidance. This one here allows you to give anybody, including yourself, a +1 to an attack roll, a saving throw, or a skill check for 1 minute. And only one. This is extremely useful. You can use this to not only boost me up so I can disarm this trap, more likely than not, which is what we're going to try to do, or if you're looking for perception checks and wonder where they might be in the open world, if she buffs me with this, and we do a perception check, as you can see right there, I lost the icon again for the buff she just gave me. That's what that does. It increased my chances of finding things, right? So now,
we should move.
I'll buff myself again.
Done.
Increase my chances to find another one by buffing myself one more time. Boom. It's gone again.
You have my attention.
Buff myself again to make sure that I can disarm it.
Our duty calls.
And you can do this all day long. And while it seems silly and kind of cheating, it's not. It's actually part of the D&D or the Pathfinder system. So this is literally stuff that people would do with their DM in an actual game. Now, being that there is no DM, we can kind of abuse it. Like I said, if I'm looking for stuff and I know that there might be something hidden in this area, I can buff my whole team with this guidance and have, for 1 minute, the chance to increase everyone's chance of finding something like those traps. By finding those things, or not finding them, as long as I see this drop off, as long as it hasn't been a minute, then I know that there was something to find, even if I did not find it. I will not see that I failed the check. That lets me know that I failed the check, the fact that it drops off. So that's something you can do to kind of, not cheat the system, kind of manipulate the system would probably be the better way of saying it. We got the fight with these guys here. They're trying to break in and steal some of their cash and their booty. And they know that they have some kind of money or whatever around here somewhere. Which is kind of our hint to like to make some cash that way for ourselves.
Wait for me.
Now I'm kind of running out of these arcane weapon enhancements, but I'm not too terribly worried about it. I am a little wounded, so is Lindsay. What we can do to buff ourselves in a better way is we can buff the whole team with Lindsay's ability right here. This Inspire Courage. As a bard, she can do this.
Learn from my mistake.
Uh-oh, that's not good. Come on, guys. That's one down. You see, I'm undead. I'm not undead. I'm unconscious. Now, Lindsay's bard ability will shut off naturally by itself, but I want to make sure to catch it before too long. You'll see that I got res, so to speak, from unconscious to 1 hit point. And it'll do that for you.
What troubles you?
It's kind of nice. I'm going to use Lindsay's ability here to heal. She has a Cure Light Wounds spell that she has built into her, being a bard. Matter of fact, we'll hotkey some of that stuff over here, as well as any cantrips that she might have that I find useful. There, and the light spell, of course. She has others, but I don't particularly care about the other ones. And we'll go like that, and there. Okay, so now I'm better. I'm not fully healed, neither is Lindsay. We can solve that problem later. We have potions that we can do to cure that. But in here is not only some treasure for you that these guys are kind of looking for, they know that there's some kind of special treasure. I'm going to split up the team to these 2 separate rooms to illustrate what's going on here. So there's this first indication that there's traps or puzzles for you to solve. So if you see all these guys with the swords, these statues, if they point all upwards or they point all downwards, one of the 2 things are going to happen. This door will open or this door will open. These are hidden rooms. So if we move this one here, and then both of these, this door opens.
And Lindsay was called for.
As you can see, we found our first secret room. And a whole bunch of treasure that we're just going to pick on up. Now, a lot of people find one of the rooms and assume that that was the whole shtick. Basically, that you found one and that was all you need to do. Well, technically, there's another door right here. And that's if the swords are all pointing down. So if you click this one here on the bottom now, and then click one on top, this door opens. Now we're going to pull our team together, pick up the last treasure. You really want to get inside this room if this is the only room you break into for this treasure alone, because you get a wand of magic missiles. And we are going to equip that bad boy on our main. Now, this is only a regular wand of magic missiles, 11 charges, so it's only going to kick off as caster level 1 missile auto hitting for 2 to 5 points of damage. So it's not stellar, but if you really need to down a target and they don't have shield spell on them or any spell resistance on them, magic missile really is your go-to weapon. Lindsay even has this ability here, which is auto hit. Spell resistance applies too. Doesn't get blocked by shield spell, thank God, but so therefore it will do damage. And even if they make their save, it still does half damage. So it's kind of nice. That's one of those other abilities that I kind of like to have on many of my teammates. Everybody should have, if in my opinion, a move that can almost guarantee that they hit a target. Because if you get a track star on the team, if someone trying to run away and sound the alarm, so to speak, then you really want to drop them quick before they alert the authorities or whatever. Everybody spits out their magic missile spells or whatever and drops the bastard like a freaking stone. Then you don't have to worry about it so much. But, everything's different. Now, I am wounded, as we mentioned before, and I can, since we're not in combat, use a potion. Lindsay can do the same. Well, we're not full. I'm at 9 and she's at 10. We're only 1 point away. We cannot use potions of healing on Jaethal. She is undead. As such, you only heal her with inflict wound spells, which she actually is lucky enough to have. Inflict wound is one of her spell class casting abilities. So she can heal herself, technically speaking, is what we're telling you. So that's nice. Just to reorient her stuff a little bit here as well. I always do this. I apologize if this is boring to you guys, but it needs to be done. And she has all these wonderful judgments that she gets for being an Inquisitor. And we're not going to slot them all or talk about them all, but there's a variety of utilities that these have. For one fight and one fight only, because she has one use, as you can see here, she has the ability to activate this at the start of a fight and give herself +1 to damage. She could use this one here to give herself better healing throughout that combat, through that entire one single fight. She could increase her attack rolls, which again, I'll probably put these in order of how I would use them. Attack, damage, there's one here for saving throws. That one's for spell resistant, that's kind of nice. What's this one? This one is protection. This is armor class, that's good. Here's our saving throw one. So again, a variety of things. She has resistance that she can get, but again, only for one single fight. One of these is even the ability to resist damage. So incoming damage is lessened for her. We want to save that for the big fight, since it's pretty much a guaranteed thing that we're going to get hurt. Now I can either select my whole team, pick a target and watch everybody unload on this one jackass, or I can try to jump him. Let's try to jump this bastard first.
They dare to attack me?
There we go. Nice. Oh, we got a bowman all the way over here now too. We took a little on the chin there, but that's okay. Jaethal got shot one last time at the very end there.
Let's head out.
Alright, well, we're not going to talk to Harem just yet, because there's this hidden room down here that a lot of people miss. I want you to see that. And in this room is your first quote-unquote hidden item.
Something here.
See right there. So this is what perception checks are for. And the great news is perception is rolled for every time you walk into that area. If you miss it once, then you're never going to get a chance to roll again on it until you level up. However, when you walk into an area with multiple people, or pets even for that matter, those animal companions and your teammates will all roll a separate perception check, meaning the more people on your team, the more likely you are to find hidden items. So that's nice. But since we're going to try to solo quite a bit using my Eldritch Scion, that's going to be really hard for me. Hence, I'm going to make perception one of her main stats, one of the main skills that she's going to need to make sure that she's leveled up proper. Now we're going to drop some loot here. Some stuff that's basically just weighing us down. Don't worry about that. Armor, whatever the hell this thing is. A bunch of these armors, daggers, and clubs. Okay, break out of here. And again, if you go to your map, you'll see we've left a little cache of treasure in various places. Loot, treasure, treasure, treasure. And again, once we get to the end of the area, it'll ask us, oh, you forgot all this treasure. Do you want to pick it up? Well, hell yeah, I do. So that's when you can go through it again.
I'll go ahead.
Grotus, I can sense your silhouette hovering
Okay, so
over
now
me.
there's a little whiner Harem, the cleric that's all doom and gloom. He's always wanting to die.
Soon we shall meet.
But you can do a variety of ways of getting him back on his feet. You can talk to him, which ain't going to do you any good, but you can give him his own healing potion to make sure he gets off his feet. Then you wasted the healing potion, right? If you do these diplomacy checks, if you hover over them for intimidate or in diplomacy, you see which character is going to roll for it. Remember, I have it set up for whoever makes the check gets the XP. So this would be the person that would get the XP in this case, Tartuccio. It's kind of a shame because I don't really like him, and he'll get XP, but I'd rather not waste a potion versus, just to spite Tartuccio. So we're going to have him run off with a diplomacy check to see if he can do it. Now notice the checks are the same level. It doesn't have to be. It just happens to be in this particular case that it's a diplomacy 15 and an intimidate 15. And he has a +9 to that roll is what you're seeing when you highlight it. That's based off probably his charisma and his persuasion ability. I have those too, but I don't have a +9. I probably have like a 6 or a 7, something like that. And therefore, he's better off, technically speaking, than I am. But that's the good news, is because you would have a full team. Someone on your team has to be basically the face, right? Someone on your team can be the athletics expert. Someone on your team can be the lockpick expert, like Lindsay. That's why this is a team game, but I'm going to try to play it as solo as I can, just to see how far I can take my character. Now, she won't solo immediately. She won't solo even out of the tutorial, because you have no choice. But once she does have a choice, I'm still not going to solo with her until she literally gets to a level that I feel comfortable that she can handle shit on her own. That's probably going to be not till like level 4, 5, or 6.
That's impossible.
Basically, we convinced this doofus with a diplomacy check that he's not even wounded. And he's like, oh, I guess I was just lying down for no reason. He thought he was wounded, but he was not. He was kind of hoping to be dead. Kind of a creepy little fella. Now, he is a cleric, so they talk about spell conversion, and that basically means that any of his spells can be converted into a healing spell. And again, while that helps everyone else out, it does not help her out. Also, as a cleric, he has the ability to channel positive energy, because he's a good cleric. Channel positive energy to damage undead, or channel positive energy to heal our team in the circle that you're seeing on the screen. She's undead. Even though she's on our team, this will damage her. So if you're going to heal your party, step her outside of that circle first, and then have him fire that off. That's good news right there. He also has this smite ability and this chaos ability. Those come from his domains. And of course he has a spell book proper. If I press B, you can look at it. He has his domain spell, one spell available at level 1, and we're picking True Strike over Protection from Law, which makes good sense for us. He has Bless and he has Bane available to him. And any of these spells, by the way, can be converted into Cure Light Wounds, because he's a good cleric. So we don't have to slot Cure Light Wounds, or any cure spells for that matter, because we know that we can convert them. If I was an evil cleric, if I understand this right, I haven't tried it yet, but then he would have Inflict. Where's it at? Inflict Light Wounds would be what he would convert his spells to. So therefore you'd want to slot cure spells if you wanted to heal with an evil cleric, right? So just be mindful of how they set stuff up. And again, he has the similar abilities that she has for Inquisitor, but he's a pretty good character, and it's nice to have him on the team because of his ability to nerf the bad guys as well as buff the team. And I can't stress enough the ability to have a cleric on a team, whether even if it's a partial cleric like Lindsay the Bard or the Inquisitor here. The ability to heal and not have to take a need at rest or to swill every potion that you have can come in super handy.
You run and get an axe.
Alright, so now these guys are basically going to tell us that we've got a big fire going on here, that we need to go help the main lady, which is where we're going anyway. He tells us that there's only one way through, which is this way, but they're trying to put out the fire. Tells us to basically cover our nose is his best advice he can give us. So we're going to charge in the area. We get this illustrated chapter book thing. This is basically like a choose your own adventure. So I could read this to you, but basically the gist of it is that it talks more about the fire and how they're trying to put it out. When we approach the burning building and trying to get to the one lady that's being attacked, Lady Jamandi, the one that invited us here, we can do one of these three things. So we can either drench ourselves with buckets of water, we can try to find a less dangerous passage, which could take time, or we could cover our noses and mouth before we rush in, which is what he suggested. Now, this sounds like a good idea, but dousing ourselves with buckets of water sounds like a better idea first. Let's do that. We drown ourselves in water, our hair and our clothes, so that we're a little soaked, so we're not likely to burn immediately. And then we're going to cover our nose and mouths before we rush inside. It's a good thing that we did too, because as soon as we rushed inside, instead of trying to find another way, the bricks all fell down and collapsed our passage. Now, as we're coming through, we see that Valerie, which is this character here, is a former paladin and now a fighter, level 1 fighter. She was saving various guards that have been wounded. They've been burned horribly, and she's trying to break them and get them out of the area. So she's asking for our help. Now we can either use a diplomacy check using Dri'tch again to tell her piss off, join us to help Jumanji, leave those guys are already dead, or we can use Jaethel, who's the undead Inquisitor. She has an okay athletics check, and she could rush with us and our help to save the guards from the fire, which is what we're going to actually do. So it's a less likely that we're going to succeed because it's a +2. We need to roll 7 or more on a 20-sided die. But we did succeed, and you see we rolled a 17 or a 15 plus her 2, so we would have passed it regardless of who we used. That's nice. So we succeed in saving those guys and got a little XP in the process for Jaethel. Now notice these guys are wounded, we just leave them there. That's fine. We go to our character sheet. You see Harem hasn't gotten any XP yet. Jaethel has 174. Some of that just came from that 54 that she just gained from the athletics check. And again, she gets all of that. Normally that would be split amongst the team. So 54 divided by 6 is what? We would have each got 9, right? Which is something. That's why everyone stays even if you guys don't select that one possibility. Also, let's rearrange people just here a little bit because she's wounded. I want to keep her in the back. You see that we have a fatigue on one of our characters. Fatigue, for those of you that don't know, lower your strength -2 and your dex -2. So that's your chances to hit and the damage that you do by 1 point each. Which is not stellar, but it is annoying. And we will actually see if there's anything we can do about that before too long. Now this is where we leave the area, and it gives us the option of collecting all our treasure. We can pick and choose as we want. We can just say collect all. We're going to collect all of it. And you see, because we have such a large party now, we can actually carry the burden of all that weight. It's still a strain on us, but it's not overloaded, which is the real concern. So we leave the area, and here's our big boss fight at the end of the tutorial. Here we are. So there's Jumanji. This is that frost giant they had in the area. And she's got a little helper here. Pause it now while she's attacking this guy. She's doing pretty good. I mean, she does good damage, and she will fight, but she can't fight forever. So we do have to break her out of this little bubble. These little magic circles keeping her in here, and they keep porting in monsters to fight her and her friend. And that's what these guys are doing, these rift channelers. So they're going to be busy doing that. They will not attack you because they'll be busy keeping the bubble up, because they know if the bubble drops, she'll turn on them and she'll slaughter them all, because she's a skilled fighter. Now, our team sneaks in over on this side. You can see we have a bowman, an assassin leader. He's definitely a bad guy. And a few assassins on his side as well. So he's surrounded by his minions and basically making sure this takes place. So we're going to stealth, which is what this little icon does here. We're going to reorient our team like so. Everyone sneak walk their way over this way, and then think about what we're going to do from there. So we're staying out of the shadows there to make sure these guys don't see us. No shadows don't matter. I'm just pointing out the fact that we were stealthing. So you can be stealthing in broad daylight. This apparently seems to work in his game. I don't understand that neither. But we have way too much gear on us. First, is there any gear we'd like to use? First, let's take these guys' gear, because you don't need potions and scrolls. Who said you could have stuff and things? Jackasses. It's all my treasure. I'm team leader. And I want to have the little lantern on my belt, because it looks cool. You don't need this. This doesn't actually do anything for you as far as I can tell. But basically, it's just a way for you to have light without having to use a light spell. You know, and it's cool. She is fatigued, first off.
The road away.
We said we didn't like that. Remember I said I had that lesser restoration ability? I can use that on anybody. And that is capable of taking away fatigue. Boom, just like that. Now, let's take a look at her again. Here she is, with a 14 strength and a 13 dex, like she should be, like normal. Notice how she has an attack of +2. She has a Masterwork Bastard Sword and a high strength score. Base attack bonus of +1. She should be at a +4. And she's at a +2 instead, because of the tower shield is putting on a -2 on her. Well, that's a problem. So what we're going to do is, we're going to inventory, and Lindsay had a shield that this lady can use in its place. It's not giving her the best armor class, but you see she went back up to a +4 attack. And that's the reason for that. If we really want to make sure that she's protected, here's a Shield of Faith potion that we can have her chug, which will give her a +2 to her armor class again. She actually had that on her belt to begin with. Is one of the ways that you're going to get through this fight, especially on the harder difficulties. Now she's wearing the best armor that we have available. He is not wearing the best armor we have available. It's equal to the chainmail's breastplate. His dexterity is low, so that's neither one is really helping him. But banded mail will jump him up another point, and that's cool. It's heavier, so that's the thing. But he's a dwarf; he can handle it. So we have him on that. Rearrange this by price again. We have all this stuff that no one's going to want right now. We'll try to sell it later if we can, but it's weight. We don't want it. And no one needs a sword or whatever the hell that thing is. And no one needs a crappy bow. And we don't need to keep both of these tower shields or the studded leather. The longbow we'll leave him drop it. And these two chain shirt or mail outfits. The breastplate's better than that, and if I can't use it, which I cannot yet, she might need it later on, so I'd rather give it to her later. Notice how we also have a masterwork longsword. Now, can anyone use that? He cannot. She has a masterwork bastard sword, which is better. She has a masterwork scythe, which is better. He can't use it. Lindsay can. She had this masterwork light mace, but she's not doing much damage with it compared to the longsword. He has a strength penalty, but it's masterwork, so it's giving her a better chance to hit. Now we of course want to keep her on range, but he now can use this masterwork light mace. As you can see here, it doesn't do as much damage, but it gives him a +1 to his attack, which will be another way for us to ensure that this fight goes well. Now, we're still on pause for a good reason. One, we need to heal her up because she's going to take it on the chin real quick. Use her spell to heal herself. She has a potion to chug. And he has a spell that will buff us all. Called Bless. That's nice.
We should move.
And I have a shield spell for myself. And I bump my weapon up a little bit. And then Lindsay has the ability to make us all better. And we're going to start off with Tartuccio's magic missile spells. He's a sorcerer. So we're going to not worry about the leader so much as worry about his minions, because there's more of them than there is the leader. The leader's probably going to be harder to kill. If we take this out and get us kind of a numbers advantage, that's kind of our goal. We're going to leave the Rift Chandlers alone and focus on the bowmen and the assassins, and then the leader. That's our goal. Right, let's start the saddle off, shall we?
Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration.
Do that one now. And you can do
solid
this
plan.
one. And you kind of got to give them targets. I mean, yes, there's an AI here, but if you're stupid and just let them do whatever, they'll really mess stuff up.
Serves you right.
My mistake.
Come on, guys. You can do this. Let's take this damn assassin out. Thank you. Oh, we've been feared. It's not good. Take that assassin out, would you? They're trying to fear us. That's what the team leader here is doing. No, we're getting hit. What the hell did happen there? Oh, Miri joined the party. Oh, good on her. So she's going to be our saving grace now. Now you see my character and my main character already fell. Fortunately, they let me get back up. So, yay, I'm alive again. Picked up all that gear that we dropped not too long ago.
The path is clear.
Now we're overweight for sure. We want to talk to Jamandi. But, you see we got a dead guy over here. We might as well loot his body too while we're at it. Alright, before we talk to her, let's see what we got for our armor and stuff. We got magic Braces of armor +1. We can't use those. That would be something like a Dri'tch could use. So we could put him on him. But we don't like him. He's a jerk. We have all this gear here. And we will not be able to carry it all. First, let's give her her shield back. Because she really wants the tower shield. He can get his mace back. Because that thing is worth a pretty penny, $100, and this is only worth 3. So we're going to swap that back out. We're not going to steal her Masterwork Bastard Sword. She can keep it. Lindsay's got stuff. She's probably going to join us anyway. And I say probably. Usually I should probably do that. She can keep her stuff. He can keep his crossbow, and I'm doing pretty good for myself now. All right, let's just rearrange this one more time. Yeah, now, you see that we're not overweight, but we're going to be. And why I say we're going to be is because we're going to lose some of our party. So we might as well ditch stuff that we know is low cost versus high weight. So if we literally go for weight in descending order, the heaviest stuff is going to be stuff on top. So you can see right now, the heaviest thing we got right now is another tower shield. And it's only worth 7 gold, but it weighs 45 pounds. Let's lose that. Now here's chainmail. It weighs 40 pounds, but it's worth 37 coin. Same with these other ones. Now this one here is only worth $3, but it's 25 pounds. I could see getting rid of it. The chain shirt's worth equal pounds to weight in gold. So we're going to keep that. So if it's basically a 1-to-1, that's kind of a push. We would rather keep it if we can. These ones here are 6 to 20. Yeah, I can see losing them. This one here is a 2 to 15. Let's lose it. 18 to 12. That's worth keeping. These, though, padded armors, 1 gold, and they weigh 10 pounds apiece. Let's lose every last one of those guys. Okay. And from there, we can probably call it quits because we're actually pretty darn light at this point. So all that stuff is just staying here. It's going to go nowhere. Now, we need to talk to Jamandi. I am wounded, but that don't matter.
The end draws near.
And
Lindsay does have the ability to heal me. Let's have her do so.
Yes.
I don't know that we heal up after this. And he has the ability to convert a spell into a healing spell. Thank you, sir. Alright, now,
We should prepare.
I'm doing okay. Full health. And before we talk to anybody, though, we want to have that little buff on ourselves, right? For 1 minute, I have a pretty good chance at making a skill check, which could include persuasion.
Valor and bravery. The enemy was strong, but you...
Lady
I know
Aldori,
we're talking with these guys, and they're basically saying that, oh, something weird's going on, there must be a spy. Tartuccio tries to claim that we're the spy, and he says that the way he knows it is because of the ring that we're wearing, the ring he gave us, by the way. So now I can do a knowledge roll check past, which means clearly this one would work for me. But if I do the diplomacy check, I believe I get XP. I might get XP from this one though too, because it is a check, as you can see, and it's letting us know that we already passed it. This only works if you pass this check. If you fail this check, this option does not show up. So I say we go with this one. Let's see what it says. I have no connection to Patax, but Tartuccio's name, accent, and clothes seem like he came straight from there. Which of us looks more like they might be Irovetti's spy?
Probably, yes. But this evidence is circumstantial at best.
Boo.
Definitely a spy among us. But who? All I have is one word against another. I'm afraid you're both under suspicion.
I bet my life the spy's anyone but this woman. I saw how she dealt with those creeps with my own eyes. A true warrior.
Thank
I'd
you.
go with her through hell and high water. This purple crook, on the other hand. He's got the eyes of a spy. And the mug of a spy!
The mug of a spy.
Lady Aldori, don't listen to this thick-headed barbarian. She doesn't know what she's talking about. During the attack, our leader showed her true colors. She forced us to break into the armory and rob it.
This is all the gear that we stole from the armory. Not the cash, but the stuff that we took besides. We took a crossbow, or sorry, a composite longbow. We stole that light mace. That's a masterwork light mace, and a couple pieces of armor too. So he's not lying, but he's misrepresenting it. So now we have a diplomacy check. Notice this is our diplomacy check because they're confronting us. This is why it's important that we have a good persuasion score on our person, because there's going to be times where you cannot pull from your team when it's you that have to literally make the decision. So my diplomacy is at a +4 because I have a decent charisma and a low persuasion score. So I can do lawful neutral or chaotic neutral. I'm a chaotic good character. These will both shift my alignment. This one will shift it in 2 different ways, from chaotic towards lawful and from good towards neutral. This one will only shift the neutral, from good to neutral, and it won't completely shift it. It takes many times of you picking neutral choices like this to shift yourself out of good or evil. So don't worry about making one simple choice like this, but keep in mind that you are shifting your alignment when you are making these decisions. Now I'm probably going to go with a chaotic neutral one because of this. So here's what we're basically going to tell her. We were in the middle of battle and needed weapons. There was no time to run and ask permission. And this, quite frankly, would be my typical response for this. You really wanted me to go say, excuse me, bandits, can you hold on one quick mo? I'm going to go ask permission to go put on this better gear so you don't kill me. And it just seems dumb. So chaotic neutral is the way I'm going.
Considering the circumstances, that was more than reasonable.
Thank you. See, she agrees with us. And that means we succeeded in our diplomacy check, which we rolled well. And it also means that we got some XP for that, which it doesn't say that, but it's implied.
Is it not insane to be faced with death and stop to question whether you may be breaking some law or rule? Our leader acted wisely.
This is your way of letting you know that your choice influenced Harem. Harem basically agrees with us. He likes us now.
There is a difference between initiative taken in battle and blatant arrogation. How can someone who disregards authorities be a leader herself?
So this is their way of letting us know that Valerie did not like our decision. So basically they're setting up who's going to be on our team. So Valerie doesn't like us. Harem the healer does. And that was because of the chaotic neutral choice I just made. If I went lawful neutral, she would have sided with me because she's a lawful character. And Harem, who's chaotic good, probably like me, he's all for it. He would have hated the fact that we asked permission and then are seeking to apologize for something that clearly needed no apology. So again, if you wanted to have a shield fighter with you, you go with a lawful choice. If you wanted the cleric, which we definitely want, then we went with the chaotic neutral, and it made sense anyway.
What about that trick she pulled right before we came in here? She knew very well you were fighting the enemy, but instead of rushing to help you, she dallied as long as she could, dropping everything to save people from the fire, even though the guards were handling things just fine. She was obviously hoping to show up too late and find you already dead.
So now, this is referring to the fact that we stopped to help those people for Valerie, and we can do neutral good or neutral evil. And again, I'm chaotic good, so this will be the one that least impacts me, so this will be the one I'm going for. So it's the same diplomacy check, a diplomacy of 12. And we may fail it and not get XP for it, but it's what we risk. But we would have failed it, and we would have failed it on this one too. And it does determine who comes with us. So now neutral good is Lindsay. Neutral evil is the undead scythe-wielding bitch. So if you want to have the Inquisitor with you, go neutral evil. If you want Lindsay, take neutral good, which is kind of who I wanted to go with anyway. And we're going to say neutral good. People were dying right in front of me. How could I just walk by?
Really, Tartuccio?
And we succeeded.
You're seriously trying to blame someone for saving people from a fire?
Yeah, Tartuccio, stop being such a douchebag.
May Shellen spare me
See?
from ever having to make such a choice, but she behaved decently, as a true leader.
Even if I did faceplant like twice in the tutorial.
A true leader is someone who has their priorities straight, not someone who would put a valuable ally's life in danger for
why
the sake
Jaethal
of
doesn't
some
like us.
servant.
So, Jaethal will not be coming with us. Lindsay will be.
Enough squabbling. I'm still not sure which of you I can trust. However, the risk of entrusting the whole affair to a spy is too great. Here's what we'll do. 2 teams will head out. That way, I'll know at least one group can be counted on to serve my interests in the stolen lands.
Lady Aldori, most of those who were to set off for the stolen lands have been killed. Those who yet live will require help. Please allow me to join the expedition.
I'm sad to lose such a talented warrior. But you're right, Valerie. They have greater need of you right now. Go, and may Abadar keep you. Which of the 2 teams would you prefer to accompany?
If Tartuccio allows, I would join his team. Forgive me, but I don't appreciate your willfulness.
And this is letting you know why. Because we seem too chaotic in that last choice when the cleric likes us, which is why the cleric...
And I like our leader. What wisdom lies in minding orders, laws, and rules in the face of oblivion, knowing not whether you'll be alive tomorrow? I will go with her team.
Which means Harem's on our side.
Our leader is good in battle, but I don't like all the spiritual agonizing. I prefer those who can act without wasting time helping every little pipsqueak. Those like Tartuccio.
I'm not sure if that was a dig on Tartuccio or not. She was literally referring to every little pipsqueak, and then she refers to Tartuccio. So I think she just insulted the guy, but she's joining his team nevertheless. She's not joining our team.
Ugh, Tartuccio's going to take the credit for himself and be done with it. Shellen, spare me from such allies. I'm going with you. You're a hero worthy of my quill.
And that's my team.
I don't even need to think.
Plus
I'm coming
immunity.
with this woman. As for you, Purple Toad, just wait until we meet along the way. I'll be sure to hang your rotten spy guts from the trees.
Yeah, you're right. Spy guts from the trees.
All right, we have 2 teams. To avoid unnecessary conflict on the road, you'll each take a different route to the Stolen Lands. Tartuccio's team will go through Nevacta's Crossing. The garrison commandant will provide him all the help he needs. You will take your team to Oleg Leviton's trading post. He's been complaining about the Stag Lord's bandits for a while now. There, you'll be provided with all the necessary travel supplies.
So she gave us enough camping supplies for 4 people. That's what times 4 means. And a signed scroll of raised dead. So basically, if anyone on our team dies, we can bring them back to life once.
I'd like to believe you, but I know all too well how convincing traitors and spies can be. If you're truly innocent, I hope you can forgive me this precaution.
So we did well for ourselves. We actually succeeded, I think, in every check. So we got 750 XP for that. Remember, I'm the one that made the check, so I get that XP. I should be level 2 now.
While you're away, Keston will investigate the night's events and learn who in Restov is working for Patox. But you should know that it isn't just Patox we need to worry about. The Royal House of Sertova may also interfere in our plans. I've managed to keep this affair a secret from them so far, but that can't last long. By my estimations, you have no more than 3 months. After that, any feats you accomplish will be pointless.
So basically, that's our time limit. We got 3 months to beat that Bandlord. We got to kill that son. It's the Stag Lord, I think they call himself. He got to kill him and return back within 3 months to show her his head. It's gross, but whatever. That's how we do things. And then they'll make us the Baron of the area. That's chapter 1, so to speak.
And now, farewell. This battle was but the first ordeal along your path, and you overcame it as true champions of Restov. May the obstacles that follow also fall to your feet. Fear nothing, my friends, and return victorious.
Surviving a terrible night, our small team set off to brave our fate. Beware, Stolen Lands. Heroes are on the way.
Okay, now at this point here, we're going to stop the video. This is the end of the tutorial. But I just want to show you the general area. This is about as big as we're going to get for the time being. This is the area we're basically exploring. We will not unlock the whole area right away because we're going to be blocked into a specific path. But that's because they want us to keep it within 3 months and fight that Stag Lord, which we still have yet to find. We need to go find this guy. We need to know we're going to the left, and if we keep following this road, the South Rosslyn Road, we'll run into Oleg's trading post down here somewhere. And that's where we're supposed to carry on with the rest of the mission. So that's as far as we'll go. But you see, we've also leveled up. Now, I'm going to level up all but myself for a very good reason. One, I want these guys to be tougher, so more hit points. And I'm going to level them up in things that make sense. I don't need too much perception on him. It's important, sure. But let's go for Arcana. I'll go that way too, but we want more people on it than just one. And he goes lower religion because obviously he's the religious guy. And it doesn't look like he gets much of anything else, but remember, he has a spell book, and therefore you need to slot the new spell. What's a good spell for us to take? Inflict light wounds could be decent. Protection from alignment's okay. Bless again would be good. Fire belly. Let's rock that. That sounds sexy. Now we're going to click this plus sign and go to leveling up our bard to level 2. She gets a bard talent and well versed. So that'll be helpful for a variety of reasons. She gets a lot of skill points even though her intelligence isn't very high. That's because she's a bard. So bards get, as you can see, access to every skill, which means we will put something in every skill before too long. So let's actually just work on down the list, right? Well, actually, let's not get crazy. We're not going to stealth a whole lot right now. Perception, yeah. She's got a pretty good perception score now, too. So if you want a skill monkey, it's really a good idea to go bard or rogue because they get a lot of skill points to spend. Especially if you go human, you get an extra skill point every round, or every level, excuse me. So, pretty decent. Now, she has a new feat, Combat Trick. We're going to get point blank shot. That'll allow her to shoot better with her crossbow when they're within a certain range. She gets another free spell. And of these, I do like Grease. I do like Hypnotism, Remove Fear, Hideous Laughter are decent ones. Sleep you out level, Summon Monster level 1 is not really worth it. Touch of Gracelessness is not horrible. Vanish is not horrible. Cause Fear, you out level it as well. But yeah, I say Grease. It's a nice slippy slide one. It has nice utility, even if you never go beyond a level 1 character. A level 1 casting of Grease will last for 1 minute. So it's not a bad little spell. And get all her stats. Miri, the Barbarian, gets Uncanny Dodge, which just like rogues are extremely nifty ability to keep her from being flat-footed. She gets 4 points, and she already has points invested in these two, and these ones as well. And I think we're going to go that route. Keep going with the same 4. Persuasion is not her forte. She doesn't have a high charisma. She could get it, and it will go up higher, as you can see. It jumps up a pretty decent amount. But, well, let's just do it like that. Okay, I feel fine. Might as well unlock everything that they have skill points in, right? And Lethal Stance and Mouse, always the way I go with her. Swift Foot's another good one. All it does is increase her ground speed by 10. But that's extremely useful sometimes. You'd be surprised how quick she can get. Alright, and the reason I am not leveling up myself before the end of this video is because A, I want to have my list in front of me so I can tell you what I'm doing. But B, we're going to get all the way to Oleg's without leveling up my main character. Because when I buy my mercenaries, and I'm going to buy 2 of them, they will be cheaper because I'll be level 1. If I make myself a level 2, there'll be more money than I can afford. I can get probably 1 and not get the other one. That's a bummer for me. So if I do it this way and gimp myself, so to speak, then I can literally afford both mercenaries. And after that, I can just level myself up after that. So with that, though, my name is Brothermutant. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, tell me what you guys think. I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.